young people on testosterone, it is messing you up. We have a low testosterone epidemic. Most men over the age of 30 have female level testosterone. We should not glorify things that are gonna kill people.
That's right.
While I was working out today, I listened to the latest episode of Jubilee, which was steroid versus natural bodybuilders. And it was kind of amusing to hear some of the justifications and contradictions for why you should use steroids. So let's take a look at some of the highlights from what went on in this episode.
How is it dangerous? In what application? If you look at the testosterone level of a 20-year-old now, it is at the same level as the testosterone level of a 7-year-old in the 1970s. We have a low testosterone epidemic. Most men over the age of 30 have female level testosterone. Testosterone being low is more dangerous than having your levels normalized via TRT.
I'd be interested to see the study that shows that most men have testosterone levels lower than a female in their 30s, or guys in their 20s now are like guys in their 70s. Even if that were true, why is it the only guys that seem to need TRT now to get their testosterone to a normal level, which is typically not normal, are guys who are in the gym, guys who are working out, guys like Alex Eubank, who just has this low testosterone. Does he really? Because guys just use that as an excuse to be able to justify and feel better about getting on steroids in a prescribed way from a doctor.
I have children at that age. How do you get them not to get jacked? And yes, young people on testosterone, it is messing you up. Like, you're in an age where you're developing, teenagers, they're developing, they become infertile. There's a lot of bad things that can happen.
Teenagers taking it can be bad because it's going to mess up your hormones. You can become infertile. But you just said the average 20-year-old has a testosterone level of a 7-year-old before. So if that's the case, then that teenager probably was the same way leading up into his 20s. And if there is an epidemic of guys having low testosterone, I don't think giving them testosterone is the key to fixing that. What's wrong with their diet? What's wrong with their lifestyle? How about we get people to start eating correctly and exercising instead of just going straight to a drug, just like so much other stuff in the medical industry. Rather than fixing the actual problem, I'll just give you this drug for your diabetes. I'll just give you this drug for your high blood pressure because you're overweight. Let's actually fix the source of the problem.
Lazy. Also, being fat makes you stupid. Your brain will not operate as well because your oxygenation to your brain will be lowered. There is nothing good from being overweight and fat. We should not glorify things that are going to kill people.
That's right.
We shouldn't glorify things that are going to kill people. How many bodybuilders over the years have died from doing steroids? No reason. They're perfectly healthy. I mean, they're the epitome of bodybuilding, but these guys are in their 30s and 40s and dying of heart attacks. What can steroids do? They're going to give you heart problems. They can give you liver problems, kidney problems, mess up a lot in your body. Yeah, you might look cool, but you don't know what's going on the inside.
I think you guys are so concerned about what other people are doing with their bodies. Like, your definition of happiness is not the same as theirs. Let them be happy being fat as we could have a cocaine positive movement, because if you're happy ripping a ton of cocaine, even though it's not necessarily healthy, as long as they're happy, let them do it. Do what makes you happy, which is being fit and healthy, but it's not up to you.
Do you pay taxes?
Say. It's not up to you to say, just do what makes you happy, because everyone has their own thing that makes them happy. That's a stupid way of thinking, because take that to its logical conclusion. How far can you go? What if someone is attracted to kids? Well, if it just makes that person happy to act on that attraction, well, is that okay? Because, you know, that makes them happy. I mean, come on. You got to have some standards. You got to draw the line somewhere.
Whether we like it or not, this is going mainstream with steroids, and these kids are f***ing themselves up real bad, and I've seen too many cases of it.
Kids are messing themselves up, but steroids aren't bad if you use them right. But we shouldn't glorify things that are going to kill people. It's just, which is it, one or the other?
So I think the more of us that come out and talk about how to do it correctly and how to mitigate sides and risks and do it the right way, I think that's going to be best for our society moving forward.
Mitigate sides and risks and do it the right way. How do you do steroids the right way? Like Chris Bumstead says, we're going to do this as healthy as possible. The most healthy way possible is to not take steroids, to not abuse drugs, because, I mean, what do you say? I'm going to do the least amount of damage to my heart or kidneys or liver. Well, you could just not take them and do the least amount of harm to them. But, you know, you're not going to get as many followers. You're not going to get as many likes. You're not going to get as much money. So how much of your health are you willing to trade off to get that extra money? Because the problem is you're going to come to a point where eventually you get to the pinnacle. You get to the highest of what you can achieve, and then you're going to start coming back down from that, whether that's on steroids or staying natural. But when you're on steroids, that fall is going to be a lot farther because you're going to lose a whole lot of that muscle. You're always going to see, oh, I used to look this way. but now you're going to be at the same level as the guy who's natural, but you're also going to have all kinds of health risk and may have shortened your lifespan even more versus the guy who stayed natural. So how much is your health actually worth to you?
Shizzy's natural, I blast gear, and Shizzy looks way better than me. So it's like, I don't see where the false standard is within the steroid users. Like, you can push the limit and look like Shizzy.
Because Togi, or Shane here, also blasts gear and doesn't actually work out hard. He's talked about it. He just stays up for days at a time, drinking, doing drugs, not doing anything that's actually gonna help his physique. He does that to just try to maintain what he has. You can take all the drugs you want, but if you're not actually exercising, training hard, eating right, sleeping, it's not really gonna help you look the way you wanna look.
I think there are some very few cases where bodybuilding can hurt your sex life. I think some of you guys can think of some cases, like say that you get way too stage lean, or you've been way too stage lean for too long, and that affects your hormones.
If you're too lean, yeah, that's not good for you, and it's gonna mess up your hormones, which is kind of funny because it's what leads to these guys thinking they need TRT, because they try to be super lean like Alex Eubank. I want to be aesthetic. I got to see all my abs and all the veins going through them all the time, because that's what validates me and makes me feel happy when the internet says I look good. So what do? Well, I feel terrible during that, and my testosterone level's low. I don't know why it's low, even though it was like 900 nanograms per deciliter when I was at a healthy body fat percentage, but I don't feel good about my body then, because the way I look is the most important thing to me. So what do? Well, I'm just going to go to the doctor and get my testosterone checked when it's low, and then get them to prescribe it to me. So now I can tell everyone I have a prescription for TRT that I need to take 200 milligrams of test a week, and I'm just, gonna put on 15 pounds over the next, 6 weeks or something? Yeah, because making your testosterone levels go to a normal amount is gonna make you build 15 pounds of muscle. Right.
It's a little different though, because my height being 6'1", I mean, I think there's way bigger guys in terms of like mass.
Yeah, like Nick Walker, but if you, first of all, Nick Walker's alive. He's super rich and successful because he has that much muscle, and he seems like he's probably pretty happy, you know what I mean?
I don't know if I would say Nick Walker seems pretty happy, because he cries that he couldn't get in shape for the Olympia. I'm sure he has a lot of money and is successful, but doesn't seem too happy with the way his body looks, because he couldn't even get himself in shape to get on stage for the Olympia for what he said he was gonna win. But unfortunately, with bodybuilding shows, we just keep rewarding more and more bigger and bigger physiques. Like, we started out with Arnold and then back in the day, and of course, they were on steroids too. But now, those guys are seen small, even next to the classic physique guys. And you go look at the open bodybuilding guys, they're huge. Like Arnold, I think, was around 240 or something like that. Now you look at guys getting close to 300 who are winning open. Chris Bumstead barely makes 240, cutting down to make his weight class. The men's physique guys are huge. All the while, we've got the female classes, 6, 7 of them now with the fit model class. I got a video on that if you want to know what that's about. It's supposed to promote a more healthy physique, but nothing for the guys. However, I actually am hosting an all-new bodybuilding competition. It's online, a virtual bodybuilding show where you can compete from home for a chance to win up to $5,000 for first place. That's about the same amount that Mr. Olympia competitors, these are professional bodybuilders who are spending lots of money, traveling, entry fees, drugs that they're taking, and if they get 5th place, it's like $6 grand. Whereas you could compete and make up to $5,000 if you win this, and we're looking to reward more realistic physiques, not super massive, crazy. Think of like movie star type physique is what we're looking at, versus something like classic physique, Mr. Olympia. So take a look into that. I have it linked in the description. You can check out the video that explains it, or just look at the website where you can sign up. Has all the information you need there.